2 at 10:30, but that's the 9 o'clock news. Good night.
Good evening. One of the region's biggest hospitals could close to save money. Health managers say that with just 1.5 miles between Selly Oak and the Queen Elizabeth hospitals in Birmingham, many services are being duplicated. Unions are worried about job losses.
It's a tale of two ageing hospitals. Faced with the prospect of a £60 million repair bill, managers have decided to look at a more drastic solution. Selly Oak and the Queen Elizabeth hospitals are just 1.5 miles apart, but many staff work in both and end up commuting between the two. Managers say they could save money by concentrating services in one super hospital.
What our staff are telling us so clearly is that if we could deliver care on one site, wherever it is, that would be much better for patients and we could do the job more effectively.
Despite a huge new accident and emergency unit built at Selly Oak, it's thought that the Queen Elizabeth site will be the favoured option.
If the merger goes through, yes, we're bound to be worried about our jobs. There will be job losses, and I think it will affect patient care as well as the staff's.
Every time they do a merger, we lose beds.
10 years ago, there were plans to build a super hospital on the Queen Elizabeth site, but they were thrown out because it was thought to be too expensive. Now it seems the circle has turned. Carol Foster, Midlands Today, Birmingham.
Midlands rivers are at some of their lowest levels ever. This winter's been exceptionally dry and many rivers, including the Severn, are lower than they were last summer. Our environment correspondent David Gregory has this report.
The River Severn provides 6 million people with water, but it's a shadow of its former self.
It's always flooded, except for this year. It's very, very low. The landing stage, you can see the landing stage, which you can't normally see. You can see the base of the bridge, which you can't normally see. It's very low. It's lower than it was in the summer.
This is a more familiar scene for those who live beside the Severn, the river bursting its banks and causing havoc for local businesses and homes. It's not just the River Severn. Other waterways in the region are affected. This brook, only a few miles away, leads to the River Clenk. The exposed bank and tree roots show how little water there is.
If there's a lack of water in rivers and streams, it means we don't have so many fish around, and fish, of course, are the things that otters prey on. So once we lose the fish from the rivers, the otters have to hunt elsewhere, and they'll leave brooks like this.
People who use it for water supply, and obviously all the fish in here and the boats that use it. So all the uses next summer. If we don't get any more rain, we could have some difficulties there.
There's no doubt the dry winter is partly responsible, and Severn Trent say heavy rain would help relieve the problem. But in addition, many pressure groups say we extract too much water from the region's rivers. David Gregory, Midlands Today, Upton-on-Severn.
It's hoped that forensic tests will determine the cause of an explosion in which a man was severely burned. The police have not yet ruled out a case of attempted murder. A car belonging to the manager of Goldsmith's nightclub burst into flames as an employee tried to move it. 23-year-old Scott Cooper is tonight in a comfortable condition in hospital. Well, that's it for now from everyone on Midlands Today. The National Weather Forecast is next. Have a good weekend.
Good evening to you. Well, some unsettled weather today with some spells of rain pushing their way eastwards, and that sets the scene for some changeable conditions really for the foreseeable future. On the chart then, this cold front brought a belt of rain eastwards, a ridge of high pressure now following, but the next